Never in history have we had the connectivity we do today, and that's mostly thanks to the thousands of satellites orbiting Earth. These not only serve as lines of communication, but also ways to spy on enemies, track targets, and warn of potential threats. Over the last decade, many countries have started to see the potential and threats of this. So in today's video, we're going to look at how the next major conflict may be fought, not on Earth, but around it, and how this may develop in the near future. Let's first start with the ground up. We know how valuable these satellites are, and we also know how expensive it is to launch stuff into orbit. So if a country can take something out from the ground, it will. Ground-based anti-satellite weapons have already been developed and tested by multiple countries, most notably Russia, China, India, and the US. There are three main types of ground-based ASATs. Kinetic, which are ballistic missiles launched from the ground to physically collide with and destroy satellites. This would create a lot of debris, remember that for later. Direct energy weapons, or put simply lasers, which can be used to blind or damage satellite sensors, or electric warfare and cyber attacks, which can be a combination of jamming and cyber operations that interfere with satellite communications, navigation, or control systems, which can also render them useless without creating debris. This aspect of not creating debris is very important. There's an idea known as the Kessler Syndrome, which is a scenario where space debris in low Earth orbiting reaches a critical density, leading to a cascading chain of reactions of collisions that create even more debris, destroying close to all or all satellites in that orbit. Meaning blowing up the enemy satellites may take out yours also. This definitely complicates matters, since of course you don't want to do more harm than good, or send us all back to the pre-space age by knocking out all the civilian satellites required for GPS, banking, cellular data, and more. Then there's space-to-space attacks. These are another form of ASATs, and they share similar characteristics with either having kinetic or disarming capabilities, but their methods are vastly different. The kinetic method involves sinking into a similar orbit as another satellite, slowly creeping up on it over a course of 1 to 2 orbits, then detonating a warhead nearby. This method is actually nothing new. It was invented by the Soviet Union during the Sputnik program, way back during the Cold War. There's other space-to-space methods, but they're all still in early stages of development, so we'll touch on them later in the video. For that, we need to address why they're spending so much to develop this technology. What is it that they're really trying to shoot down? Well, they're trying to shoot down satellites like KH-11 Kennen, a US spy satellite that's one of the earliest in the KH-11 series, and one of the only ones we know a good amount about. It takes high-resolution optical images similar to the Hubble Space Telescope, but points it at Earth and sends them back in real time. Honestly, we don't know much more than that. Most of what the government does in space is highly classified. However, we are seeing the advantages of satellites in wars like the Russia-Ukraine war, where the US is providing valuable communication satellites and information so Ukraine knows where their targets are and are able to hit them. You can see how this is an issue for the enemy. That's why hunting these satellites is Cosmos 2588, a Russian ASAT launched in 2025. It's currently orbiting near US 338, a US spy satellite believed to be part of the KH series. Although we have never actually had a hostile attack, the US have raised concerns, and rightfully so. All these activities could violate the Outer Space Treaty. Although it doesn't explicitly outlaw ASATs, it does state in Article 6 that nations avoid harmful contamination and act with due regard for other states. And in Article 1, it states space must be used for the benefit of all humankind. Although in the end, these were guidelines signed in 1967. The world is vastly different now, and whether people are willing to abide by these rules is up for question. If we do turn space into a free-for-all, what might we be looking at in the future? Well, it's not quite Star Wars, at least not yet. It will most likely involve an evolution between defensive satellites and offensive ASATs. Satellites may have onboard countermeasures, like lasers or electronic jamming systems, hardened electronics to protect against cyber attacks, and AI to assess threats and deploy automated countermeasures. ASATs may become orbital railguns that could hit satellites at extreme distances with hypervelocity rounds. There's also been some question raised about use of space stations. China's current Tiangong space station is primarily designed for scientific research and technological development. However, Chinese scientists recently mentioned plans to equip Tiangong with self-defense bots that could intercept and push away unidentified spacecraft. Although these measures are mostly meant for crowding due to Starlink and other low Earth orbiting satellites and debris, it's showing a step into the future of space warfare. So we may not be getting X-Wings, but drones and other bots may be protecting satellites and other important equipment in space in the future. These are all just of course concepts, but the future of war in space is very much real, and it'll be interesting to see how it develops in the near future. If you want to help with future videos, please join the Discord in the description or just leave a comment. But for now, that's it for me, so I'll see you guys again next week.